A long walk. It's been over an hour on the road, trying to get to the farm of this man, John Banzali. He doesn't know what to expect. Upon reaching there, he is in shock.
We spent a lot preparing this farm. I bought weedicides and fertilizer. I have spent almost 1,500 cedis on this farm. Now the rains have destroyed everything. How am I going to take care of my children and family?
I'm
not the only one affected by the floods. I couldn't harvest anything. A lot of people in Wulugu didn't harvest anything from their farms. So this dry season, there would be a lot of hunger. We can only rely on God. He sees beyond what human beings see. He is our helper.
John is one of hundreds of farmers in Wulugu, a small town in the northern region, who are now counting their losses. Cutting of trees here for fuel wood is a major economic activity, but the effect of that has now reached alarming levels.
The trees that are being cut for firewood is the cause of all this. Sometimes we pray for rains and they don't come. When they come, they flood everywhere. Sometimes we pray for sunshine. It doesn't come. When it comes, it is too harsh because there are trees.
In Wulugu, like in many other parts of Ghana, a lot of trees are now being cut into activities like this one, charcoal burning. John himself is one of such many people here who cut down trees for charcoal and fuel wood.
If you have a deforestation rate of 2%, at the same time you're killing 13,000 people a year, right? And at the same time, you're not growing your alternative solutions, which are homegrown. It's not sustainable. I mean, when you lose your forest, it affects your soil quality, affects agriculture. You mentioned agricultural process, which we haven't even touched in terms of what we call the commercial side of clean fuels. So women who do tie and dye, who do gari, who do pito, shea butter, are all using wood, school feeding program. Tons and tons of wood. Tertiary institutions, boarding schools, tons of wood. And so we would have to convert some of these people to clean fuels like LPG, or come up with solutions, actual stoves that reduce the amount of the consumption of the wood, and at the same time be replenishing the wood. About 2050 and so on, you're going to have a higher population. You're going to have more demand for fuels, cooking fuels, because people have to. That's one thing people forget. People have to eat twice, 3 times a day. That is a constant activity. And you know, climate change is when our human activities start putting us in danger.
Back in Wulugu town and in the home of John, the sun is just setting. Cooking activities are running deep into the evening. At 65, John has 15 children and 2 wives. More fuel wood is needed. The cook stoves that are being used let out more of the fire, and hence cooking here requires a lot of firewood.
When I was growing up, the whole of this town was covered with trees. Everywhere was dark and green. Now there are no trees. Everywhere is dry. Even if you stand in front of your house, you can see your neighbor's house. All because we have cut the trees for firewood.
It's serious because they have been pulling down a lot of trees, and not even the small ones, but the big ones. And we know the importance of a tree. So we don't want it, but the people are into it. The most worst thing is the economic trees, the shanas, the dawa trees. All this have been included, and they are cutting all this, so it's serious. It affects the community because it also helps. Like if we have a bumper harvest of these shanas, the women use the shanas to pay their world school fees, to even feed the family. But now that they are cutting it, they will not get the share. And it is the share trees that are supporting the women.
In Wulugu, like in many other parts of Ghana, a lot of trees are now being cut into activities like this one, charcoal burning.
The forest that has been going down and down, it didn't start at this time. Far long, the time we were not even born, they were into this business, this charcoal business. And if you interview them, is the poverty, and all things comes under. We have only one raining season. If we were having two seasons, whereby they will be farming all the time, or if we have dry gardens, but because we only have one season, that makes everything. That makes them to go, because after the farming, sometimes because of the rain, they may lose post-harvest. Then what they will do is next to go and to the bush to destroy some of the trees so that they can feed the family.
As a country, the usage of inefficient stoves have negative effects on our natural resources, specifically the wood fuels. And if I say wood fuels, I mean the firewood and the charcoal, and also some other biomass-related components or resources. But we use mostly the charcoal and the firewood. And these products, due to their inefficiencies, go to destroy our natural resources. That is the forest vegetation we have. So that is one of the significant side effects on our resources. The other component has to do with the health-related benefits we get, because cooking with the inefficient cook stoves, it means the fuels are not burning completely. So you're getting emissions into the atmosphere, and these go to impact on the user, which is usually the women and the children, and it leads to several respiratory diseases and other chronic diseases. Some effects are prolonged over the years and may not be identified, but eventually it causes certain detrimental effects on their health. Yeah.
John himself is one of such many people here who cut down trees for charcoal and fuel wood.
Kapo an kurongo na berma kiminya pi wongoi boke tumpa e mbena sokuru e ka gomenti tunsha shane to
The future does not look good. If things don't change, the people who go to school, life would be good for them. But for the rest of the community, will become a desert.
Sukuru nganda kan mazu katima da umara ama zuna mpong bulsi kamandin cha katang mara ama nusu nawe ni katare yin jiru wala shama bima bisho nyindo arin na hanin tirma ma halati mai takani ban ya karci dama ba mi ban shendi kamanda ku yanan lawo de zambaran tan tawo ma da ku pila wulwule la 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 we baba we.
Ghana has lost a third of its forest cover over the last 20 years alone, according to the country's 2015 MDG report.
Our ratings when it comes to forested lands is not looking that good. I think our environment is endangered today than it used to be a couple of years back. And so, in one way or the other, all of us, may have contributed directly or indirectly to this problem. And so, we have been part of the problem. And I think we can all be part of the solution. And so I'm looking forward to a future where our efforts are even strengthened than it is now. I know, apart from SMV, other institutions like the GIZ and other partners are seriously contributing their quota into making Ghana a better place and ensuring environmental sustainability through the adoption of improved cook stoves. And I want to see a future where all partners work in a concerted effort towards getting to our objective of making Ghana's environment a sustainable one.
These are our local stones. You can even see them here. And actually, the smokes is not good for we the women who are doing the cooking, because sometimes you even see a woman cooking and be crying. The smoke will affect the eyes and even the nose. So I think the smoke affects us, only we don't know. So it gets to a time, you see that a lot of people, they can't even read unless they use reading glasses. And this attribute to the smoke that they have been inhaling all the time, morning, afternoon, evening, because we are using the firewood.
We all know that every home also uses wood and charcoal. So what do? Well, there we say the traditional coal pot and the three-stone fire, people call it muchia and so on, are not good enough for cooking. So for that one, there are improved solutions. They are 50% efficient, which means that if you bought a kilogram of charcoal and you used it in, let's say, a coal pot, or the same amount of kilograms of wood and used it in the muchia or the three-stone fire, the improved version would give you at least 50% efficient, which means that you will only use half of what you bought before. So the more efficient, the less amount of contaminants you're releasing. It's not as clean as it needs to be, but it is a huge improvement in terms of how much you're using. So, and then also, it's also developed some cost savings to the person who is buying it. A family consumes about 50 cents to $1 a day on charcoal alone. So if you save half of that for a family, multiplied by a month, you see how much money people save. And you know that nobody's measuring charcoal per kg as they sell it. They just gather it for you and you pay for it. So it's a significant expense for a household.
Shea butter making is one of the biggest economic activities in the northern part of Ghana, where Wulugu is located. And women, who make up the majority of the people, do it the most. Inside Wulugu, I meet 50-year-old who has been in this trade all her life.
This job is what we survive on. I take care of my children. I buy foodstuffs to feed my family. We can't survive without it. These days, we can't even get the nuts to prepare the butter. Now we have to go deep into the villages to find the shea nuts. The trees have all been cut down. The shea tree takes time to mature and produce nuts, but because all of them are being cut for full, we don't have the trees to produce the nuts.
The story of Wulugu depleting forests unpredictable weather conditions, and the harrowing effect of smoke from inefficient cook stoves is just a reflection of the bigger picture, especially in northern Ghana.
Now, because there are no nuts, we have to buy it from middlemen who take all our money. When we are setting up the fire, we inhale a lot of smoke. Look at my eyes. They've all turned red because of the smoke. I cough. At night when I go to sleep, I can't. If I close my eyes, tears drop. If there's an alternative way of cooking that is better than what we are using now and brings out less smoke, we will be happy to use them. But now, we don't know.
Amin Zuru, another town in the northern region. It's about 20 kilometers outside the regional capital, Tamale. Here, the SNV is working with the community to grow its own wood logs to serve as a sustainable source of fuel wood and also help replace depleted forests.
Firewood is our biggest challenge in this shea butter business. We are grateful to SNV for supporting us to plant our own trees. When these are matured, we will stop cutting fuel wood from the forest.
For every cook stove intervention that you come up with, I think it's important that you pay some attention to how possible you can work towards ensuring a sustainable supply of fuel. Because no matter how much reduction you bring in the use of firewood, people will still need some firewood to use on their cook stoves. And we've been working in this area as well, supporting communities to establish their own woodlot. Woodlots in the sense that you have fast-growing species of trees that people plant. The communities are encouraged to plant them so that from this woodlot they can extract firewood and use them on their firewood. So it means that whatever intervention you are bringing on board becomes complete. They have an improved cook stove to use, and if they need firewood, they also can have it from their woodlot farm.
Now we are also having improved cook stoves. They emit less smoke and take less firewood. So we can have more profits because we buy less firewood. Cutting down of trees destroys the environment. One day we may lose everything. One day that would be the end of us. Now that we have our forest, we can save the money we use on firewood. We would reduce the level of firewood we use because of improved cook stoves. I think all women involved in shea butter making must have the improved stoves.
I think we can scale up if other people are ready to see the need for more resources to be pushed in this whole thing, because just as I mentioned earlier on, we are all part of the problem and we can all be part of the solution. And so one way that we can scale up this is that we have more resources to do more. I think that we've not had much, but we've been able to achieve some remarkable results. And I think that with more resources, with more commitment, with more support, even from the media and also from our development partners. We believe that we can reach more because, just as you said, we've made some impact, but it's looking at the magnitude of the challenge. The impact, even though it's a good start, it's just a little fraction of the bigger problem. And I think that the commitment should be sustained.
For the agro-processing industry, I think one of the significant things that can be done would be for, advocacy, which we have started already, and GACO, that's the Ghana Alliance for Clean Cook Stove, is also on it with some other agencies like SNV, UNDP. So they need to be educated more on why they need to transition from the use of the inefficient stoves to the efficient ones, health-wise and also economic-wise. That is in terms of the fuels they use. What we are doing is a good step, but it's not enough. We still need to hammer in. But the other side effect is that these ones come at a cost. So there should be some component in supporting some of these industries to move or to transition from the inefficient stoves to the efficient ones, because constructing the efficient ones means getting materials outside what they are used to. For example, in the gari processing industry, they could just use the 3-stone fire to do the frying, but this leads to a lot of energy being lost because of the inefficient nature of that kind of technology. Having an improved system means probably getting some extra materials like some sand, clay, etc. to have a system where all the energy will be channeled to the process and you have less losses to the environment. So these extra materials will come in as extra money that would be needed. So supports through funds could also help some of these industries, and it can be easily worked out with some of our rural banks, because when they get to understand the benefits they get from these stoves, they are able to channel the savings they make through the fuel purchases into paying for the stoves, and a properly designed system could help transition it. So
the traditional cook stoves used here too has serious health implications for the mainly women folk who are involved.
Hello sir. Welcome to Sikaf Ghana Limited. Thank you. Well, we produce your favorite.
I'm in the outskirts of Tamale to meet middle-aged Senor Pelly. He runs Sikaf Ghana Limited, a social enterprise he co-founded 13 years ago.
Our Sikaf is known as the game changer or the pace-setter in the shear industry. When we entered the industry some 13 years ago, we noticed all the problems in the industry, especially quality. So we came out with a standard method of harvesting and processing the shear nuts. We came out with a standard method of processing the shear nuts into shear butter using the traditional method, so the quality can meet international standard. Overconsumption of fuel wood. I mean, those days, people cut down shear trees to make shear butter. But in the Sikaf model, it is forbidden to even cut down shear tree. So if we work in your community and you cut down shear tree, we pull out from your community. If you sell fuel wood to us and there is shear tree inside, we do not buy. We've also collaborated with SNV initially to work to reduce the consumption of fuel wood. So with SNV co-financed a project of energy saving stoves, and these energy saving stoves have helped to reduce almost 50% of our fuel wood needs. It costs close to 750 Ghana cedi to buy fuel, that is firewood, to be able to produce, let's say, 4 to 5 tons of shea butter. Now we are buying less. It means that we are saving the environment because of the energy saving stoves. Yeah, and then we are moving towards further reducing the consumption of this fuel wood. That's why we are investing in a biogas, so that we will stay away completely from fuel wood. But again, going forward, even if we have to use fuel wood, because the Tama brand is a sustainable brand. It tries to operate in a very environmentally friendly system. So we are looking for communities where they grow fuel wood, and then they can harvest it and sell to us, so that our fuel wood source will be more sustainable, because we do not want to buy fuel wood in the future from the irresponsible way of cutting down trees in the forest and then bringing to our factory for us to use.
SECAF is leading the way in the use of improved cook stoves in shea butter making in this region.
In the cook stove sector for gari processing, yes, they use the traditional three stone stoves. Productivity is low. They face other difficulties of being exposed to emissions and heat. So the project is looking at that sector in order to increase productivity through efficiency. So they use less wood and they are exposed to less emissions from cooking, and they also are exposed to less heat. So that is why we are into this particular sector. And the other aspect I want to mention is that in early 2014, the SEEF Sustainable Energy for All initiative was launched in 2013. But in 2014, Ghana had its action plan. So the project is also here in response to the Global Sustainable Energy for All initiative that was launched by the UN under the current UN Secretary General. Yes. So one major focus is looking at food security and how energy helps to address food security in Ghana. And one critical area is energy for production of food, energy for processing of food. And we are looking at these two aspects in Ghana.
Cook stove smoke is the fifth cause of death in developing countries like Ghana. It's the more reason why this country needs to work to reduce how people get exposed to them. The SNV has shown the way. What is left is for government and the general Ghanaian public to embrace these improved cook stoves by investing and supporting its mass production and adoption.